Good morning, my dear friends in Christ. And once more, I welcome you to the celebration of the Feast of the Transfiguration of the Lord. And the Gospel reading of today, taken from the Gospel of Mark, chapter 9, verses 2 to 10, narrates to us the event of the Transfiguration. But the background of the Gospel reading of today will better be understood if we can just go a little backward to when Jesus came to the district of the Caesarea Philippi. He asked his disciples, "Who do people say that I am?" And of course, his disciples told him the truth that is not complete. I call it an incomplete truth because they did not tell the entire truth. They told him, "Some say you are Elijah, some say you are John the Baptist or one of the prophets." And I'm beginning to wonder why none of them ever said to him that there are some who also were of the opinion that you are a drunk, a friend of tax collectors and sinners. This is why I say that the truth is incomplete. Perhaps they only wanted to tell Jesus what they thought he needed to hear. And Jesus knew they were not telling the complete truth. So he asked them, this time around, a personal question: "Who do you say that I am?" And Peter spoke up and said, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." And Jesus said to him, "Simon, it is not flesh or blood that revealed this to you. It must have come from my Father who is in heaven." Then in the same chapter, the 8th chapter of Mark's Gospel, if you read from verse 31, Jesus predicted his death. And he said to his disciples that very soon the Son of Man will be handed over and he will be crucified. He will die, and on the third day he will rise again. The same Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him. He said to him, "Master, do you really understand what you are saying? Forbid it that you die." Jesus, who just few minutes ago said, "Peter, it was not flesh or blood that revealed this to you," and pointed out that Peter was having a communication with the divine, as this must have come from heaven, Jesus called Peter Satan. He said to him, "Get behind me, Satan." What a switch within seconds. Because Peter was not thinking the way that God sees things. His approach was different. His thought was different. His understanding of the passion and the death of Jesus was different. But I have always wondered, how come Peter did not pay attention to hear from Jesus that he also said that on the third day he will rise again? He was so scared of death. Listen, dear friends in Christ, sometimes we behave like Peter. We allow the circumstances surrounding us to dampen our vision, because bitterness and pain can breed blindness. Peter perhaps was not just saying this in order to protect Jesus' life. Maybe there may have been some touch of selfishness in it, because he knows too well that if anything happens to Jesus, the Jews will come next for who? Him. Because he is the head of the apostles. And in the same 8th chapter of Mark's Gospel, now in verse 34, Jesus took a step further to tell them, whoever wants to be a disciple, insisting on the importance of the cross, must first deny himself, take up his cross, and follow him. And anyone who wishes to save his life will lose it, and the ones who lose their life will save it. It becomes very important understanding this background, why Jesus should, at this point in time when he had discovered probably that the faith of the apostles were shaky and he needed to strengthen their faith, so he took with Peter, James and John with him to the Mount of Transfiguration in the Gospel reading of today, to show them the glory that lies ahead. That it was not going to end in the cross. There is something coming after the cross. And the same Peter who said, "Forbid it, Lord, that you die," at this point again is speaking, Lord, it is good that we are here. How I wish you can make 3 booths, one for Elijah, one for Moses, and one for you. Overwhelmed by the glory that lies ahead, but yet he was not willing to embrace the cross. Child of God, believe me, there are many of us who act in the nature of Peter. We are afraid of the cross, but yet we want the glory that lies behind the cross. This is very important, especially in our time and age, when prosperity gospel have gained some level of dominance. Everybody is talking about the glory, but nobody wants to look at the cross. But when the word came from heaven, he says, this is my beloved son, listen to him. We must pay attention to Jesus. Listen to him. Especially in our time and age, where we, men and women of God, are most times shifting the attention of the people from the God of man to the man of God. We must learn to focus our attention on Jesus. Listen to him. Oh, that today you will listen to him and hear his words. Harden not your heart. God bless you and have a beautiful day ahead.